Have you ever been in a position where you could have helped somebody and you didn't for whatever reason, and it could be like a valid reason or any, like, I was running late, so fuck it, and you feel bad about it?
I try not to think of it that way because it's not my responsibility overall.
Well, that sounds like justification.
It is justification.
Because it sounds like you already feel bad about it, so you're like, oh, right, this is the mantra I need to say. It's not my responsibility.
Well, there's sometimes it isn't. Like, you ever had a bad boyfriend where you're just like, this guy's a piece of shit, and then I really don't like to be around with them?
No, because I can fix him, Omar. You don't understand. It's like he just needs the right woman to love him, and I'm gonna give it my all, because I know it's like meant to be. I talked to my friend, and she said that we are so cute together. And, like, we couldn't be more perfect together. So, I gotta do it for that. Yeah.
Okay. Can I play the part of your 5 other friends? Bitch, he's not good for you. You know this. Leave the relationship now.
Look, you don't understand our love. Okay? You've never been in love before like this. It's different.
That's the same bullshit about me and Mike. Alright? I thought he was the love of my life. Then you know what happened? I turned 14 and realized he's a piece of shit. Now that's when I dated Dwayne, but you know what? He had a car. So I upgraded. Upgrade, girl.
Girl, you're 14 years old, alright? You had options. We are in our fucking 30s. Who wants us now? Oh, my shit's dried up! Everything's leaking! I got, like, fucking dried up eggs!
You have hard-boiled eggs. Yes, I'm aware of it.
They're not even hard-boiled! They're a cream of tartar, which I think is dried eggs. Are, like, in my womb right now. Because I'm so old.
I'm thinking that it's like the jar inside, like a bar of, like, eggs, where it's just pickled eggs. Is that what your ovaries are?
Pickled eggs. Like, you put sperms in there, but it just goes in there to die. Because they're not going to survive in vinegar.
Yeah. Even if I wanted to jerk off into that jar, it's an acid filled. It's not going to survive.
I love the pickled eggs reference for ovaries. Because I'm problematic. Fuck.
Well, if you drink enough alcohol, eventually they're going to be marinated in pickles anyways.
Because I get balls put in there, and I call those pickles. Okay, you jam those pickles in me.
Okay, but that is a serious thing.
Is that a spear cut? Sorry, go on. Welcome to the All Regerts podcast, a podcast about regrets. I will be your host, Sam Narani, with my co-host, Omar Gonzalez.
No, but I am saying that is kind of a thing now, where it's just like, hey, this person is in a shitty situation again, but I can't keep helping this person because eventually they're not going to help themselves. There's a point where you end up repeating like Republican talking points to yourself about, well, that guy's got to pull himself by his bootstraps. But eventually, to a point, it's got to be right, though.
Yeah, it's like, it's on you. I can't be the one picking you up every time.
Exactly. I can't be your mom anymore. I can't be your dad.
So I guess it really comes down to if you have enough self-worth or not to be okay with rejecting somebody asking for help.
Dude, saying no is one of the most powerful statements you could ever say.
Absolutely. And like saying no and then not sticking.
Right? It's you like the thing is that like, because I've never regretted saying no at any point. I have regretted saying yes quite a bit to commitments, but like no, I've never been like I've never been like, you know what, somebody asked me for help or somebody asked me to do something and I'm like, nah, I don't feel like doing it, and then regret it. No, I have regret like not going out sometimes, times, but there's times where it's just like,
Have you ever felt like you wish you were more empowered to say no in a situation? Hashtag empowerment.
the power of no, all regrets.
Hashtag 2020, hashtag aardvark.
One, do hashtags even work? I'm curious about that.
We've actually gotten a couple subscribers and random likes because of weird hashtags.
First of all, we got a couple hundred. The audience doesn't need to know the real numbers, but we got a couple hundred.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of engagements, people. Engage.
At most, 200,000. From zero to 200,000. Take your guess. Any guess is good. Any guess is good, really, at this point. We don't know.
Of course. We're still going on.
Unfortunately.
How dare you? But like, I think like sometimes when like, well, one of the things I've always had to say no to is just to say no to my family, say no to friends. When I know like people get used to asking you for shit when you keep saying yes after a while, and it's just they end up becoming dependent on you, and it's just like, dude, I'm sorry, I can't give you that ride, I can't give you this money, I just can't keep giving you my time because it's just like all this effort is costing me internally overall, where I just feel like shit, I feel horrible about doing these things because I'm not doing what you're taking time away from like what I want to do and what I need to be doing, and then I'm wasting it on your dumbass.
Do you remember the last yes you said, thinking I should have said no, that like broke you?
Oh man.
If you were always one to say yes all the time, and then the last yes you said, you're like, this is stupid, what the fuck am I doing? Ooh. Everybody sit down.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember because I've been really good lately, like quite a bit of times, just saying no and being comfortable with it. It's been a minute though.
Maybe not the definitive yes, but the last one that you were like, you know what, I gotta think this through more. I can't just be like, yeah, fine. You know?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute. What about you though? What was the last time you said yes, or you just regretted it?
Ooh. A few years ago.
Okay.
Maybe that was a leading question, but I think that was...
Well, first of all, woo, because I thought you were going to say, oh, this podcast. Like, that's what I thought at first. It's like, I regret teaming with you. I should have got a better partner. Oh, yeah. God. Go ahead.
Give me a second. I have to think of a new one.
Oh, how dare you? So mean.
I'm sorry you left.
We've only been doing this for like 6 months.
I know. It's fun. We have fun. We have a good time.
Yeah, we lied. We're going to keep lying to ourselves with this. All right, go ahead.
So
I'm going to save my feelings right. All right, go for it.
I had an ex that was still my friend.
Oh.
And they just kind of hung around like a turd at some point.
Oh, wow.
Like, dude, to a point where he came to a lot of my shows when I first started comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, some people were, like, Sam in her harem because it was, like, the boyfriend and this ex-guy that would hang out. And I'm like, I don't want either of these guys here right now. I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to figure this out myself. I don't need an audience that I bring with me. Like, who the fuck am I?
Oh, God.
But we hung out. Like, I started dating Robert, and we were getting more and more serious. And there was one night we were hanging out, me and the ex, that had been my ex for at least 6 years at that point. He just hung out like a fart in an elevator. He was just there.
Wait a minute. So this was, how long was the relationship and relationship go? How long did this relationship go?
I think it went about 5 years.
Okay, so you said 6 years since the relationship.
Uh-huh.
So you've known this person for a while.
Yeah.
At what point, is there a point after, like, I figure like the statute of limitations where you start transforming from ex-boyfriend to just friend?
Yeah, okay, so I guess there's more history that needs to be disclosed.
Okay, that's fair.
I got I set an ultimatum up basically because like we were living long distance at the time, and I was like, you can't be long distance indefinitely without it ending or the two of you going, like being together. You know, like there has to be an answer here. I can't just sit here in limbo. And then he had to get incredibly drunk to have that conversation with me. And then I pushed it, and he's like, fine, let's break up. And I'm like, all right, bye. And then he called me the next day trying to make jokes about, what kind of girlfriend are you? Haha. And I was like, oh no, I'm not your girlfriend, dude. You broke up with me yesterday. I don't know how drunk you had to be, but that's what happened.
So you had to get him drunk. You had to get him while he was in his puking stage, while he was barfing.
I know. He had to wait to that point. Like when we finally had a conversation, like we did a phone call.
Right.
Drunk as fuck, and I was like, you couldn't give me like the decency to be a little bit sober. Just have a couple drinks to loosen up. But you were like 3 sheets to the wind right now, dude. Why?
I'm not going to ask how drunk you were in this situation, but
I was a little bit drunk. I did a work happy hour, but I was good. I wasn't wobbly.
Fair, but the thing is that what I'm trying to get at is that, like, is there any point in which you could have just ended this and just say, I'm not your boyfriend anymore. I'm not your girlfriend anymore.
Yeah, I guess in my head, it felt like as long as they seem to be willing to be with you, which it kind of was like that, but like at a distance, then you were supposed to work at it. I guess that was my mentality. Like, if you really want something, you have to work at it no matter how hard they shy away, especially because a lot of guys are emotionally immature. A lot of women are. People are emotionally immature a lot of times, so you have to help them, was what I was thinking, and that's stupid. So some of it was on me. A lot of it was, I should have looked at the situation, but I was just too much involved with, I gotta fix this.
No, that makes a lot of sense, because there have been times in which I've stayed in relationships longer than I'm supposed to, and it's just more like you end up getting this resent towards them, because it's just like,
right,
and just being stuck in this situation, and you're just like, I could be doing something else, I could be living my life, but I'm stuck here with you because I actually care about you. I want to see you get better, but it just doesn't work out. It's
so gradual every day that you're with this person. It's like you get a couple specks of it every day to a point where you wake up one day going, oh my god, this is a lot. What is happening? What am I doing right now?
Exactly. And that's my mom and dad in a nutshell. But they stick together and they're happy. And I think they're celebrating an anniversary. They might even hug. So,
oh my god, yeah, that's a good step.
Yeah, it's a good step forward and everything. Yeah, they might. They're knowing how they're gonna sleep in the same bed. They haven't done that in years. So we're not pushing that far.
Maybe they're both at a point where like, hey, we're basically roommates, and I'm not really into.
Oh, that happened because they actually did try to get together at one point. Like I said, during my I was in high school in a way, but then it didn't work out. And then afterwards, it just, my dad fell off a ladder and also yada yada yada. And now he's not. Yeah, you're right. They're basically roommates, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about you. So
we're not talking about your mom.
We're not talking about that or my other relation. This is a Sam episode, and we're going with Sam. Basically, the thing that I'm kind of curious about is, like, so you knew this person for the better part of 11 years. And there were still, and you took them to shows and everything like that, trying to be friendly with them. At what point it was just like, okay, I just need you gone completely?
Oh God. So we were both living in Arizona. That's how we met, and we were dating for a couple years there. And then he got a job in New York, and he's like, bye. I stayed in Arizona for a second, and then everything reminded me of him, so I'm like a fucking ghost walking around town. I need to leave. So then I come back to Texas, and then we do a long distance thing. I hang out with my parents for like a year almost, and then I moved to Austin, and we're still a thing. And then I think a year after I moved to Austin, we broke up. And he was like, hey, is it cool if I visit my friends in Boston before I visit you in Austin? And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna say? Like, if I say, no, that's not cool, that's just gonna make him bitchy and he's far away already, and I'm not in an emotional place where I can be a person. Or, no, I take that back. I didn't have the self-esteem to be a person. That's not what I was trained to be. I was supposed to be a wife and a mother and just obedient.
That's fascinating. You're talking about the way that you think that, like, you needed to cut this person off in order to grow.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, maybe the history of it, like, hey, we've been here forever, and then you feel your lives get so sewn together, where you're like, you feel responsible for them, and you get to a point where, like, if they're moody all the time, because he was moody all the time, I had to adjust my, like, all right, you need to be happy even though you're sad about everything because that guy's moody, and you need to fix this, because that was always my mantra. You need to fix it to make them like you.
So at that moment, you were thinking of what machismo is, for just like, you need to put on a face, you need to put on the front for this guy because he's feeling all the moods and everything, and
because it's never about me, it's all about you. You know?
That's exhausting, though.
It is exhausting, but if that's the only thing you know, then you accept the exhaustion with it because for whatever stupid fucking reason, hindsight, it's stupid, you're like, I will take 95% of garbage for your 5% of happiness. You know what I mean? Because every time I get to see that 5%, oh, I'm on fucking cloud 9. So that's all you're waiting for. You're waiting for that 5% every fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting, but you feel like that's the life you're supposed to be living. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? You don't question it, because that's all you've known.
That initial cutoff is always the hardest cutoff to do. It is, you feel like, because you're right, when you've been with somebody for a while and you've been somebody that you care about, you love, or your relationship with, and then you think it's going one way, and you know what, it becomes mundane, it becomes kind of like simple and everything. It's the life that you know, it's the lifestyle that you're comfortable with and familiar with, and
eventually become roommates.
Yeah, and then once you just realize, I don't want to be with you anymore, and you finally get up that courage and that self-value and self-worth of just being like, I'm better than this.
Yeah, and sometimes it's facing the fact that if that person was your safety net, because if you have a relationship like that, chances are your close ties are not as close as they should be. You know what I mean? If you have any. Because that's that's everything for you. That's your entire world, because that's what you've decided to create for yourself.
Yeah, no, and it's pretty much like,
are you okay with your world crumbling and starting all over? Like, that's basically what it is. Your entire world has dissolved, and you have to rebuild a brand new world for yourself because of this person was what you became your center. You know what I mean?
But don't you feel like you've been strong, you become stronger because of it?
You do, but on the flip side,
it still sucks.
It sucks because it's years. It's not like I'm gonna be sad for a long weekend and then boop, Tuesday morning I'm happy again. That's not how it works. Like, it takes years. Some people it takes decades, because it's not just that one person. You got to that point because of all the other shitty things that you've accepted because of something else. So it's unraveling so much more behind that. I don't know. It's work, and the work scares everybody, and they don't want to deal with it.
It's that moment of realization in which you have to realize, fuck, I gotta start over again, and then you accept the mourning of your life changing and everything. And that first step of getting better is always the most difficult step ever to take, man. Like, when someone breaks your heart or like hurts you so much to the point where it just feels like, but then once you break off with them, you're just like, you're still hurt, you're still in pain, you're still in crumbles.
There's no outlet, it feels like, because you're like, the thing that was upsetting me is gone. Who do I yell at? Like, how do I get this out? How do I restart?
Not only that, it's just it's more like, okay, this is what I'm doing to be happy. Now, how do I be happy? You don't know.
What is happy? What would make me happy?
Yeah, and then you realize, did I make the right decision? What?
Especially if you're extra lonely that night, or things are you're just like, I just need a hug from another person, but I'm still trying to learn how to be a person around other people. I can't hug random ass people. You do miss your shitty old life for a second, because you're like, well, at least I know how to traipse through that path. This is completely fucking boring to me.
Yeah, man, dude, and it's just like, and having to deal with that change, especially if you're by yourself and stuff like that, because every time that I broke up with a girl or everything like that, I would just go home and just be like, fuck, and just be like, shit, I'm in this place again, and you're just sitting there like all devastated and everything, and you're just like, I could have made this work out, this could have been my ticket out of here, but nope.
Thank you for listening to the All Regerts podcast with Sam Narani and Omar Gonzalez. Remember this, just because you have regrets doesn't mean you cannot live life as if you have no regrets. Have a wonderful day.